Morning students, welcome to offline classes for time 9 standard. So as we are discussing the chapter called is matter around us pure. So in previous part 2 we have discussed about colloidal solution, suspension and true solution we have discussed. In today's class we are going to discuss the next topic of the chapter, that is the Tyndall effect. What is Tyndall effect? When a beam of light is passed through a colloidal solution, the colloid particles scatter the beam of light and the path of the light becomes visible in the solution. This effect is called as Tyndall effect. So yesterday we have discussed, in the last class we have discussed where a true solution can not pass the beam of light through them. So why? Because the particles, if the particles it is not dissolved completely into the when heterogeneous mixture, what are the particles which are dissolved in the solution, those particles are responsible for scattering of light. When they scatter the light so that we can able to see the beam of light through the solution. Such kind of effect what we call the Tyndall effect. So Tyndall effect can be seen when light enters a room through a small hole due to scattering of light by the dust and smoke particles. So you can try at home also. Take a small torch and you just blow the torch into the room through a small hole. You can see the path of that light into the dark room. So that path of the light can be seen. Why you can be able to see the path of the light? Because the dust particle which is present in the room, those dust particles are the colloidal particles. They consider colloidal particles. Those colloidal particles which scatters the light. So scattering of this light, what we call a Tyndall effect. So here the example. See, have you seen the path of light? So why can we see the path of the light? Because here this entire room is consisting of the dust particles. Those dust particles which scatters the light. When they scatter the light, so we can see the path of this light. Path means what? A way of light. We can see that. So this path of light, it is visible. It is because of what? Colloidal particles. So this effect what we call Tyndall effect. So Tyndall effect can be seen in the dense forest due to the scattering of light by water droplets in the mist. So here in this also we can see here. So this is the path we can see here. Why here the dust particles are not, but water droplets are present here. Even water droplets also act as water colloidal particles. So those are also responsible here for what happened. Scattering of light. Due to scattering of light, we can see the path of light. Such effect what we call Tyndall effect. Okay. So if we go, so this is the examples Tyndall effect where we see. So here one example, and this is one example, and this is one example. This is a dark room, and this is a heterogeneous mixture, and this is also one mixture. There we can see the water Tyndall effect. Here the scattering of light takes place, and we can see the beam of light here. This beam of light is because of what? The particles which are present inside this solution, and those particles are responsible for scattering of light. When they scatter the light, we can see the path of light. So this is called a Tyndall effect. So we can go to the next topic of this chapter, that is a saturated solution. What is saturated solution? It's a solution which cannot dissolve any more of solute at given temperature. It is called a saturated solution. Is a solution which cannot dissolve any more of solute in a given temperature. Means any solution, it is having a kind of limitation. So it can soluble certain amount at certain level. It can able to dissolve the particles it inside. But if you give more and more temperature also, it cannot able to dissolve the substance in it. Such kind of solution what we call a saturated solution. Okay, the solubility of a substance is the amount of solid present in a saturated solution of the substance. So how much it can dissolve? So I told you any solution, it is having a kind of limitation to dissolve the substances in it. How much it is dissolved in it? That is the property is called what? The solubility property of that particular solution. Unsaturated solution is a solution which can dissolve some more of the solute at given temperature. So some solution what happen, that can be dissolve the substances, but if you give more temperature, then it can also dissolve the substance in it more than the limitation. Such kind of solution what we call unsaturated solution. So here solubility means what? How much it can able to dissolve the substances in it. So it shows what its property called solubility. So next preparation of saturated solution. How can we prepare this saturated solution? So take a 550 ml of water into 2 beakers. Add salt in 1 beaker with a continuous stirring till no more salt dissolves in it. Similarly, add sugar in another beaker with continuous stirring till no more sugar dissolves in it. We get saturated solutions of salt and sugar. If the mixtures are heated, it dissolves some more of the solute. The solubility of the different substances are different. The solubility of the substances varies with the temperature. Yes. Here, this is the example we have given. We have taken 2 beakers. 1 beaker we have added salt, and 1 beaker we have added sugar. And we have added both the sugar and salt in water containing beaker containing water. There we will add continuously by stirring. What happens if you eat that salt water and sugar water? What happens? Again, you can add still more salt and sugar in that. But the solubility, it can dissolve it. The solubility, the solution can able to dissolve the substances in it. It depends upon water and depends upon water temperature. If temperature is more, it can dissolve more and more substances in it. If temperature is less, it can dissolve less amount of salt in it. The solubility of different substances are different. Okay, different substances having different kind of solubility property. Some are having less, some are having more. Okay, so this is about what solubility property. Next, if we go to the next topic of this chapter, that what concentration of the solution. The concentration of the solution is the amount of solid present in the given amount of solvent or solution. So here the concentration, how can we, when we say concentrated, the concentration of a solution is the amount of solid present in a given amount of solvent or solution. Okay, so here if you take a glass of water, if you add 1 spoon of salt into that, you will get salty taste. In case if you add 1 glass of water, if you add around 10 spoon of salt inside it, you will get more salty in it. That is, when more salty it becomes what the solute is dissolves more in solvent. How much the solvent has given according to if you add the solute. So this is how much the solute is dissolved in the solvent, that decides what the concentration of that particular solution. Here the concentration of solution is equal to what amount of solute divided by amount of solvent. Means the concentration will depend upon what how much the solvent we have taken. Like example, what how much water we have taken. According to the water, how much the salt we have added to that. That gives what a concentration of the solvent. If you take a glass of water, if we add 1 spoon of salt into that, you will get little amount of salty taste. If you add more amount of salt inside it, then you feel what more salty water. So that depends upon what how much solute you added in that and how much solution you take, or amount of salt divided by amount of solution. Next up, the concentration of solution can be expressed as mass by the percentage or as mass by the volume of percentage. So if you same we can express in a mass. The mass by the mass percentage of solution. Mass of solute divided by mass of solution gives what 100. This would, so 100 is what a percentage. We take what whenever if you want to take a percentage, you need to multiply with 100. That gives percentage. Okay. Then mass by volume percentage of solution. So same mass of solute divided by volume of solution. Volume means what the place inside it. The container, how much it can able to dissolve it, the solid. That is called a volume. Mass by solute, mass of solute divided by volume of solution into what a percentage. And it was 100. When you multiply 100, that gives what a percentage. So this is about what a concentration of a solution. Okay. Next is about separating the components of mixtures. separating the components of mixture. So the components of a heterogeneous mixture can be separated by simple methods like hand picking, sieving or filtration. So here heterogeneous mixture already we have discussed. Heterogeneous mixture means what? Here the composition is not uniform. So that in that we can able to separate. Say for example, you can take salt, it is mixed with the sand. Okay, and some other grains are mixed with the sand. So we can see the particles inside it. We can separate them by the hand picking, physical way, hand picking, sieving, or by filtration we can separate. Sometimes special techniques are used to separate the components of mixtures. So here some we can able to separate the mixtures components. Some we can able to separate the mixtures by the physical way, but some we can use some different methods to separate the mixtures. What is that? Those are the examples here: evaporation, centrifugation, decantation, sublimation, centrifugation, chromatography, distillation and fractional distillation. These are the different methods are used to separate the mixtures of components in the heterogeneous mixture. What are those? Evaporation, centrifugation, decantation, sublimation, centrifugation, both the same, chromatography and distillation and fractional distillation. By these methods, by applying these methods, we can able to separate the components from heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so these methods, how they are used, what is evaporation, how these methods are used to separate the components from heterogeneous mixture, that we will discuss upcoming classes. Okay, thank you.